Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Hello and welcome into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host tonight, Cassidy Wood. The Steelers have made it. They're in Dublin. They had their walkthrough today. Very interesting jerseys, really embracing that Gaelic heritage, the Irish heritage. All their names changed on the back. That was very fun to see. I'm joined alongside tonight, Jeff Hathhorn, the legend. Jeff Hathhorn. How are you doing tonight, Jeff?
I'm good. I'm wishing we had jerseys with Gaelic on the back.
Right?
I mean, if we were still out right now, it'd be what, like 3:30 in the morning?
Right.
Like that would be a party if we were still up and doing a show right now in Dublin.
Oh, that would be so much fun. Another fun thing too, Jeff, tomorrow night, big night over at PPG Paints here in Pittsburgh, and Fleury had that practice today. I saw, were you able to get over there today?
I was.
Yeah, what was that like?
For someone that covered those teams, it was just odd. I mean, there was Fleury again.
Yeah.
And there was Sid, and there was Letang, and there was Mull. I mean, he walked into the room, and he still had his stuff on, and he's like, "Hey, everyone!" And it was like the same old happy-go-lucky Marc-Andre Fleury, who still actually looked pretty sharp, considering he said he hasn't really done much on the ice. But yeah, it was awesome. I mean, listen, it's a one-day thing, well, 2-day practice and a game.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool story for someone that meant this much to the organization. And remember, like, he was the first round pick. Like, he was the guy that really started it all. And then Sid joined, and then Sid and Gino, and then Letang and Stahl, and it became this little mini dynasty.
Yeah, and I'm sure it felt like you were walking almost through a time portal, walking into the Mario Lemieux Sports Center today. So that must have been
and it was. It was, and it's what's fun is to watch the teammates. Just like they had a moment where they could reflect on some of those great times. And man, Fleury, I'll tell you, Cassidy, one of the first things I saw with Fleury when I think it was the second season, he zipped himself into a hockey bag. And a guy comes off the ice and goes down to like unzip his hockey bag and put stuff in, and like Fleury busted out. It was like some Houdini thing where I don't know how he contorted himself, but he was able to get himself into a hockey bag. And this was like his second year. I mean, the guy was a lot of fun. But here's the thing, like, he could be fun, but he was deadly serious. It wasn't like he was joking around. Like, he was getting the work in, but he just enjoyed every bit of it.
He just loved the pranks. He was just such a prankster. And we know all the stories between him and Sid and really a ton of guys on that team. I heard him say, too, in the interview, I believe it was post-practice today, in one way, it's felt like he's said goodbye now like 17 times. But on the other hand, it's nice to be on this side of it now because, he's been on like 3 different teams coming into Pittsburgh playing against the Penguins. So now to be back on this side of it seems really exciting.
Yeah, and he said he really wasn't into like signing a one-day contract or just showing up and being recognized before the game or in between periods. But when they said, hey, not just playing, but we'll have you a day at practice. And I think it was the practice thing that really got him. He said he got there, they had breakfast, they were swapping stories. He got to get out there on the ice, do some of the same things he used to do. Like, it just felt like you said, a time warp for a day where those guys got to be on the ice together for one last time as teammates, not as somebody on an opposing team, but as teammates. And it was what everyone who was there, it's weird, Cassidy, like there weren't that many chants or cheers, like there were, but it wasn't like overwhelming because I think people were just soaking in the moment of, oh my goodness, there's Flower again. And it was just a cool experience. And we don't know what this season's going to turn out to be, but if nothing else, it was kind of a day to, without officially celebrating Stanley Cups, you did by bringing Fleury back.
Yeah, and it's clear a lot of fans do want this. I mean, the ticket prices, I saw them, it shocked me. To get in the door, it was like $350, I think. I mean, that was incredible. And then I was actually talking to Mark Caboli the other day. He had a meet and greet where people had to bring their own stuff for Flower to sign. And it was still, I think, like $300 a ticket to go to that. And the line was, I mean, wrapped around the building. So it speaks to how much this one guy means to this city. And so it is really cool that he's been able to come back and do this.
And he's everything you see. I mean, he's everything you see. Like, he's like that in the community. Like, he does stuff. He still has stuff that he does in the Pittsburgh area, even though he hasn't been here for a few years. And he's just that genuine. I mean, you can't. You know, those people you can't not love. Like Marc-Andre Fleury would be that dude. He's just. He gives it his all, but he enjoys everything, and he doesn't seem to have a mean bone in his body, unless maybe you beat him on a breakaway. But that's just going to be for a short period of time.
Yeah, it will be very fun tomorrow night over at PPG Paints for sure. Guys, this is our Penn West University question of the night. Just scan your phone up there. Tap the QR code. Will the Steelers O-line be able to keep the pocket clean against the blitz-happy Vikings? It's a topic we've been discussing most of this week, and we'll get more into that after our first break. Give us a call, though. 412-575-2600. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night. In a nod to the local culture ahead of their game against the Vikings in Dublin, the Steelers donned practice jerseys adorned with Irish, what verbiage there, I love it, Irish language translations of their players' names. They wore jerseys that are in the Gaelic terms and Irish, you know, to honor that tradition. So really cool. Like we said at the top of the show, Jeff, I would love my own. Those look so sweet.
Yes.
So sweet. Well, before we went to break, we talked about this O-line and how it's going to go up against this blitz-happy Vikings defense. Of course, Brian Flores, not new to this Steelers organization. And I mean, Jeff, what are your thoughts initially just on this offensive line going up against a D-line that has one of the strongest interior I think they're ranking second now after last night's game in interior pressure, quarterback pressures on that interior D-line. So obviously one of the best in the league going up against an offensive line that we've known has struggled through these first 3 games.
It's interesting, though, because the Vikings give up a lot of rushing yardage, which you wouldn't think when you have a D-line like that you would give up rushing yardage. But for the Steelers' offensive line, you know, they keep saying they're getting better. Maybe that's lip service. Maybe they do see some things. I mean, if you look at the first quarter of the New England game, you feel better about that offensive line. There were some holes there. They were able to move the football. You thought, okay, even though New England gave you a few things on penalties, you still felt better about that group. And when they needed to have it at the end, they did. But the no sacks, don't be fooled. I mean, they were looking to get rid of the football quickly. They were trying to minimize the pressure to try to help that offensive line. And you're right, they're going to be challenged against Minnesota. And here's the thing. They've got to do something on first down. If they get into second and especially third and long, where Brian Flores can just dial up different looks, he can bring different pressures. I mean, he can disguise with the best defensive coordinator in the game. And even though you have a quarterback that's seen pretty much everything, that is going to be a tough matchup for the Steelers. So they have to establish. I mean, you always want to win first down, but especially in this game, don't let Brian Flores on the offensive as the defensive coordinator. You need to take it to them and try to dictate some terms so Flores just can't get all magical with what he does with that play calling and some of the blitzes and just some of the things that he likes to do.
Yeah, I mean, as DK Metcalf said to the media today, third down has kind of been this offense's Achilles heel right now, and they really have to get that fixed. Now, the offense as a whole, you know, they're kind of not blaming, but they're suggesting that the reason they haven't really had a bunch of explosive plays or, you know, we haven't seen a lot of production out of this side of the ball is because they haven't had enough opportunities is what they've said. And, you know, the defense has kept the opposing offense on the field a little bit longer than maybe they'd hoped, but also this offense is going 3 and out an awful lot. And then some interesting news today that both Jalen Warren and Jonnu Smith are questionable as of today going into that game on Sunday. So that also is not a good sign if you're trying to be explosive on first downs and avoid these third and longs.
Yeah, that is not a good sign. You know, maybe the Steelers' offense should face the Steelers' defense because the Steelers' defense on third down stinks. I mean, they're bad. Even if they stop you on fourth down, it's going to be fourth and manageable, and then they give up the fourth down too. I mean, that's been the biggest issue. The reason they won that game is because of the turnovers, because they weren't stopping New England. They were allowing them to convert third down after third down. And hence to the point that Tomlin made that there weren't as many possessions for the offense. Now, I think that's a lousy excuse. You get the football, you can open up a hole, you can run the ball. But if that's like a side diss of his defense, he's right about that because they couldn't get off the field. I mean, third downs, again, another one of those areas where you can point to every game. But when you look at how the offense has struggled at times, and then the defense has been just really bad. Especially given some of the talent they have on defense. They've got to convert on third downs against a veteran quarterback that brings a really good running game to maybe the best receiver duo in the game, or at least you could argue that, and a guy in Hawkinson that could also beat you down the middle of the field. They have a lot of weapons. And, oh, by the way, they've got two really good tackles. So Minnesota is, I will say this, on paper, Minnesota is a better team.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked all week about the threats at wide receiver. Obviously, Justin Jefferson, one of the best in the league, and Jordan Addison coming back. And honestly, this week, we haven't even mentioned the return of Adam Thielen or Hawkinson, as you just said. So that side of the ball, they have pass catchers. And, you know, this DB group, this defense is really going to have to step up big. I actually did look at the stats tonight for their third downs, and it's almost half right now. Their opponents are converting on third down almost half of the time. It's like 19 to 41. So that is not good. I mean, it's not, and that is not how you win football games.
And Cassidy, the thing is, a number of those have been third and longs.
Yeah.
It's not like you're giving up third and twos. You're giving up third and sevens, third and nines, third and tens. Or like I said, on third and 9, they're getting 8 and then going for it on fourth down and getting that. So even when you get a stop, it's kind of masked because, oh, yeah, you got the stop there, but then they were able to get it on fourth down. I mean, this team has to do better in situational football. You hear from both coordinators that, you know, they've seen improvements, and there's a chance, I think, more Deshaun Elliott than Joey Porter in this game on Sunday. So does that help? But to your point, what if, if Jonnu, you feel you've got some depth in the tight end room, even though you still want him on the field. But if Jaylen Warren can't go, I mean, are you going to give the ball to Gainwell 16 times? And is Caleb Johnson out of the doghouse enough? Or are you going to pick a guy who had a couple of really good games at Ohio State but hasn't done a ton at the NFL level?
And even with Caleb Johnson, I mean, if he does get into this game on Sunday, you can't really overload him, especially after you benched him last week. So that's a huge question mark, too. So I do think Jaylen Warren will be a go. It's interesting, a lot of depth, too, in the tight end room, as you said. And it's kind of shocking to me that Arthur Smith hasn't really been hitting those guys more. Obviously, he told us this week it's all scheme related. I mean, you got to respond to what the defense is giving you. But it just kind of shocks me that, especially Pat Freiermuth, he just signed that extension. We haven't really seen him in the mix much yet. So that side of it's been interesting, too.
Well, and Cassidy, either you're having the tight ends, you need the tight ends in to protect, or a lot of times those routes take time to develop. And you see what they've been doing. It's been quick outs. It's been quick throws. And they want to get the ball to Metcalf, understandably, because the Steelers have done a really good job with yak yardage. So get it to Metcalf. Get it to Calvin Austin in space. They just haven't had the time, or Rodgers hasn't had the time, where he could sit there and kind of wait for something to open up down the middle of the field.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I'm pretty confident in a guy like Rodgers. Out of anyone to go up against this Brian Flores defense, I say out of anyone, I mean out of the Steelers' previous quarterbacks is where I was going with that. But I do think he has the IQ to be able to dissect a defense pretty quickly. And with how Flores' pre-snap looks have been, I mean, I've seen the videos, and it's crazy how he goes through like 3 different iterations of schemes before the ball is even snapped. And I think a guy like Rodgers is going to be able to kind of dissect that and not get overwhelmed too much by that. So, I mean, that is a positive sign. But, yeah, they got to get the ball out quick because I don't know how long this O-line will be able to hold up. Let's get to a caller, though. We have Michael in Beaver Falls. Michael, what's going on?
Good evening, Kaz and Jeff.
Hi.
I have 2 questions for you guys. Number one, if the wide receivers and tight ends hold on to the ball and catch it, do you think that we're going to have a good chance to get a W? And number two, when are we going to see the nightly sports call dynamic duo Cassidy Smooth and Susie Cool?
Well, Michael, first of all, Susie Cool's over at PPG. She got the job as the Penguins in Arena host. Great for her. But yeah, so she'll be over there now on Fridays and Saturday nights over at PPG. So unfortunately, no more Susie on Sports Call as of right now because she has her hands full with an exciting season, Penguin season that's about to get underway. So that is exciting. As for the tight ends, like we've been saying, it would be exciting to see them, catch a ball, especially Darnell Washington. Like, I don't know why he's not targeted more. I feel like we've mentioned this before, but I mean, he's just such a big-bodied guy, and I know that O-line needs help. Maybe they just, have him out there blocking a lot more often, which, I mean, is the case right now, but I do think he needs to get more involved in that pass game.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, he's a guy who needs time for a route to develop. So even if you don't have him in chipping or, helping to block, he is a guy that you have to have some time in the pocket to be able to find him down the middle of the field, with the exception of those alley-oop passes in the end zone, which obviously he scored a 2-point conversion on. So, if they get down in that area, that's an easy, simple throw to him on the outside. But I think you will see that if indeed this line does continue to improve and they start giving Aaron Rodgers some time and they're able to run the ball. Like, all of this is predicated on the threat of the run. If they can run the ball, then teams are not going to be able to show as much or bring as much pressure, and you're going to have opportunities.
Yep, I agree with you there. All right, guys, we're going to head a break. Give us a call, 412-575-2600. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host tonight, Cassidy Wood, alongside Jeff Hathhorn. And Jeff, I got to ask, we have about a minute left in the show now. I got to ask what your score prediction is for Sunday. Do you think the Steelers pull out a win?
Oh, I would love to. I know the Rooneys really want it. I know it's really a topic of conversation, but I don't. I think Minnesota wins it, say 21-14, 21-17, somewhere like that.
So the Steelers won't get over 20. Now, what about the Pens? Obviously, preseason game tomorrow, but do you think Fleury potentially comes in and ends up playing the whole game maybe? I know he's essentially just going to do the first period, but I think
he's going to do.
What do you think?
Yeah, he's going to do a period. I'm going to say 57 saves in one period, and then he just skates off the ice as the #1 star.
Oh,
there's
and
the
a
dream.
Standing ovation, of course. All right, guys, Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I will see you tomorrow night, same place, same time.